All right, good morning out there. Today is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. I'm Anthony, and this is Drive Dive. And I guess I wanted to share a little bit more of my journey, social media, as I tinker with my son and our idea on trading card games. We rolled out something called Kid Kana. It's our little brand where, I don't know, he's a kid, he plays Lorcana, he's really good at it, and so we decided to start making videos, whether he's doing a lot of pack openings or maybe we get to some card play, footage, but it's been really fun. A nice creative exercise, I think, for myself, right? Application of, our creativity skills, his and mine, really. He's a pretty smart kid. Obviously, he's good at this trading card game. If you're familiar, it requires a lot of complex thinking, sequential thinking, and et cetera, right? Like strategy and so on. And so we got on TikTok recently, and we posted a video like just this morning, and it got over 100 views already, in the last, hour or two, which, to me feels good, right? It's like, it feels like we're going down the right road. Our content is appealing enough, right, to enough people, and I think it'll continue to grow, as we venture out into other platforms, right? Like, we're not on Instagram yet, so we'll see what that looks like, and then have to figure out, is it the platform, is it things that we're doing differently on the platforms, right? Like the thumbnail I created this morning, I got the idea of using the stickers that we made to, like, at the end of the video, as he closes it out, to say, like, I'm Kid Kana, and like slap down the sticker into the shot, the video frame. So I think that worked well, and then I used that final image, right, from the video as the thumbnail. So I thought, maybe I need thumbnails like this on YouTube, and maybe those would be more appealing than the style of thumbnail that I've stuck with on that platform. And that's something I mentioned yesterday, where I have to play around with the new tool on YouTube, some A/B thing, where I think you can test. I think you can test like two different thumbnails, or maybe you can test like two different titles, just to really play around with your ideas, right? Test them out and see what works, what people find more appealing, what they're more likely to click on. And so there's lots of fun stuff, right? And I reached out to a social media group, that's going to come up with a strategy for us, and obviously they'll charge for their services and things, and I don't know what that'll cost, but I expressed maybe needing some help with the editing, because let's be honest, right? Like, there's so many things I like to do, right? And my son plays Lorcana. I'm with him. I'm saying this, right? Like, I'm with him at these tournaments, and so I like to play too, and I did manage to win like a local store championship. He ended up coming in like second or third place, when all was said and done, and I came in first, but like we both won, all of what we needed to win, for one of us to then take home the top prize. So, we've done things like that together, right? But overall, he's been far more successful, far more consistent than I have, but like, I need to practice, and so like, I like to play, but I also like to do other things, right? I like to work out, and this is growing, right? Where it really is, right? This business, Kid Kana LLC, we're creating content, we're creating stickers, we have a website, and so it's just, there's a lot to be done, and like, I need help with it, and so we'll see what it ends up costing, but at the end of the day, if they end up, this social media firm, the Golden Hour, if they are able to help us create better content, gain a wider audience, right, and in time generate some revenue from these different platforms, then maybe it pays for itself over time. I don't know, right? And I don't know how long that takes. I don't want to, have too big, hopes and dreams. But as I said to my son this morning, like, you can't be afraid to fail, and as long as the cost isn't too exorbitant, it's like, yeah, okay, we can afford it, to invest a little bit in this area. And since we are an official business, it does ultimately become a business expense. Maybe it becomes a failed business over time, and I have to explain myself to the IRS, but hopefully too, I mentioned, right, I forgot to mention, we're also like selling cards. And so, having to post those to TCG, it's a very time consuming sort of multifaceted endeavor. And maybe that's my fault for trying to cast too wide a net, but I figured we're doing all these things, and in order to claim certain things as business expenses, well, the business has to be focused on generating revenue in certain areas, right? So if I want to claim the cost of cards as an expense, well, then I need to be selling the cards, right? That's a source of revenue. So I'm buying product so that I can sell it, right? Or saying that, we want to generate revenue from creating content. Well, when it comes to camera costs or other equipment costs like computers and editing software and any related subscriptions and things, well, that's a business expense. I think the maintaining of a website, that monthly subscription, it's a cost, right? So, and a business expense. So, and that's why I casted such a wide net, to try to roll all these things into one and either maximize the tax benefits, right? Or when we do generate ultimately what will be a small profit, I imagine, then I'm only paying taxes on that small profit, as opposed to, if I were to sell $1,000 worth of cards, I also want to have the cost of acquiring the cards, to be an expense, so I can deduct that from the $1,000 in revenue that we subtracted from the $1,000 in revenue we generated, and then only pay taxes on, maybe a couple $100, right? So I don't know. That's everything, right? It's like it's a lot, but it really is gaining traction. He and I are having fun with it. We're part of a great community, with Lorcana and the people that we've met at different stores and leagues, and they share their ideas and their feedback, and a lot of it positive and encouraging, and then some of it is like meaningful, constructive critiques and criticism where we've spoken about titles and thumbnails and what my son should do at the opening and at the closing, and so it's been a lot of fun, and really the idea to start a channel focused on him playing Disney Lorcana really came from a member of one of these store leagues. So shout out to that guy, Havoc 19 on a lot of platforms. I know he's on TikTok and Discord, and but yeah, really good dude. So with that, yeah, I guess I just wanted to share that bit of success. It's nice when you post a video and you get to that 100 view mark. At least that's where we are. We're not times 10 would be great, but it can get a little deflating or puzzling when when another video on the same platform on TikTok might only get like less than 20 views after a couple of days, when you get one that gets 100 views right out of the gate. I think it was in the first 16 minutes, to be honest. It feels good, right? So I got another guy reaching out to me on TikTok. It's probably a scam. It seems kind of sketchy, and he's a little aggressive, but talking about like drop shipping, and I'm like, well, what kind of products are you thinking, and what do you charge, and right? So, but it says to me that, I don't know, maybe potentially it's like there's someone who recognizes the brand potential, and I don't know, somehow wants to get in on it, right? So maybe that's the case, maybe it's not, maybe, like I said, maybe it's just a scam. But those are all the things I think we're wanting to do and wanting to get into. But anyway, comment down below if you got any experience in that area. Any help you can provide, services you can provide. Happy to talk terms and all that fun stuff. But that's where I'm at with all of this, and sharing this journey while I'm driving to work. I got an hour-long drive where I get to do this, right, and kind of maintain my own channel, which doesn't get a lot of views, which is fine, but You know, it's all part of the journey, man. Thanks for watching. Happy Wednesday. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below, all that fun stuff. And we'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day. See ya.